In first-century Judea, the geopolitical tension under Roman occupation is quiet but absolute. It is in this setting that two unlikely pregnancies are announced, one to Zechariah, an aging temple priest, and another to Mary, a young peasant woman living in the north. The narrative is driven forward by a massive administrative shift. Caesar Augustus, the first Roman emperor, issues a sweeping taxation and census decree, requiring all citizens to register in their ancestral hometowns. This map traces the grueling journey this decree forced upon the population. Joseph and Mary travel from Nazareth, navigating 80 miles of mountainous terrain to reach the city of Bethlehem, while Mary is in her final days of pregnancy. Because of the census, Bethlehem is severely overcrowded. With no room in the local inn, Mary delivers her firstborn son in an obscure stable, placing him in a manger, a feeding trough for animals. Augustus moves the world with a single signature, while a child enters it in a feeding trough. This contrast places a quiet, spiritual authority in direct opposition to the bureaucratic machinery of the Roman Empire. Shortly after the birth, travelers from the east arrive in the capital city. They begin asking locals a highly specific question: where is he that is born King of the Jews? That title triggers immediate paranoia in the capital. The region is ruled by King Herod the Great, a notoriously ruthless Roman-appointed client king. A rumor of a newborn legitimate King of the Jews directly threatens his grip on the fortified seat of power. Warned of Herod's intentions in a dream, Joseph wakes Mary in the middle of the night. They take the young child and flee south into Egypt, racing to cross the border before the state-sanctioned violence begins. Realizing the travelers have bypassed him, Herod retaliates with desperate brutality. He orders the execution of all male children 2 years old and under in Bethlehem and the surrounding regions. Herod's reaction demonstrates how the ruling class viewed this event. They did not see the birth as a localized religious anomaly, but as a severe, immediate political threat to their established hierarchy. Following Herod's death, the family safely returns from Egypt. They avoid the political center of Judea and settle in the north, blending into the obscure hill town of Nazareth. Jesus grows up quietly, with only one recorded anomaly. At age 12, he stays behind during a trip to Jerusalem to debate elite religious scholars in the temple, astonishing them with his understanding. Nearly 2 decades later, a new figure emerges in the harsh Judean wilderness, John the Baptist. John operates entirely outside the establishment. He wears clothing made of camel's hair, forages for locusts and wild honey, and preaches a blunt message: repent and be baptized for the remission of sins. The message resonates with the public. Citizens by the thousands abandon Jerusalem and the surrounding regions, migrating out to the muddy banks of the Jordan River to confess their sins and undergo John's baptism. John identifies himself as a precursor. By pulling the population away from the cities and toward the river, he conditions the public for the specific leader he claims is following him. At 30 years old, Jesus travels from the north to the Jordan, stepping into the water to align himself with John's baptism. A moment of wonder. As Jesus steps out of the water, the heavens open. The Spirit descends upon him like a dove, and a voice from heaven declares, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." The narrative shifts immediately from divine endorsement to total isolation. The Spirit drives Jesus away from the crowds and deep into the wilderness. He spends 40 days and 40 nights fasting among wild beasts. Pushed to the limits of physical exhaustion, he is confronted with a series of psychological temptations. These temptations target 3 specific areas: the appeal to immediate physical hunger, the lure of public invincibility, and the offer of global geopolitical power, control over all the kingdoms of the world in exchange for worship. Jesus rejects all 3. This crucible served as a prerequisite. Before challenging the institutions of Judea, Jesus had to demonstrate total mastery over human frailty and the lure of earthly power. Emerging from the desert, Jesus launches his public campaign with a clear thesis: repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. To build this movement, he utilizes a highly unusual recruitment strategy. He bypasses the prestigious religious academies of Jerusalem, heading instead to the rural, working-class shores of the Sea of Galilee. Walking along the water, he approaches blue-collar laborers hauling nets. He calls Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John, uneducated fishermen who lack any formal theological training. He then recruits Levi, also known as Matthew. Matthew is a publican, a local tax collector. Publicans were a class of people widely despised as traitors for extracting wealth on behalf of the Roman Empire. By bypassing the educated elite for fishermen and tax collectors, Jesus signals that this movement would operate outside the established hierarchy, built instead from the local working class. To support these radical claims, the movement begins to manifest physical evidence, starting with a local wedding in Cana of Galilee. When a host runs out of wine, Jesus instructs servants to fill 6 heavy stone water pots. The water drawn out is tasted and found to be high-quality wine, the first public demonstration of authority over the physical elements. This power rapidly scales in public. He heals the sick, cleanses lepers with a touch, and casts out spirits in the middle of local synagogues. This map shows news of his power rippling into Syria, Decapolis, and Jerusalem. Thousands abandon their homes to follow him, bringing their sick. The volume of these crowds makes the movement impossible for officials to ignore. The child once hunted by a king has now mobilized a massive public following. With a base of loyal laborers and a reputation for miraculous power, the movement has matured into a force that is now on a direct collision course with the Roman state.